What was your childhood like?
I was very bad.
You were very bad. I have a hard time believing that.
I go in the tree, you know.
So you like to climb the trees
Yeah.
and
I
get
was
mangoes.
running, go fighting with the kids. Yeah. Yeah.
And what else do you remember about your childhood?
Well, I was remember when I went to, go work far away.
Okay.
Go for pick it up some work.
Okay. Okay. Oh my goodness. And how old were you?
Oh, maybe 7.
7.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe 7. That I remember I went to coffee in the tree, Karen, and put in the little basket and put it
Carried in a basket on your head.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. At 7.
Yeah, 7. And when I was 21, I was pregnant with Patty.
Okay. Your first child?
Yeah, my
Okay.
first child. I was started working in the house with my daughter, and that's I was doing.
So then did you move? So where was home? So where was
When
the
I
home?
moved to San Salvador, I was 13. And when I was 28, I moved to Costa Rica.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
With only Patty and me.
What brought you to Costa Rica?
I was babysitting for the little daughter for the lady when the girl was 9 months.
Okay.
And my daughter was 6 years.
Your daughter was 6 years old.
Yeah.
And
Was
the
6.
baby was 9 months.
9 months.
Okay.
And the lady, she moved to Costa Rica with the husband and the little quiz. And she said, Mari, you have to go with me. And that time, the husband for the lady, she was working, put the windows, and have us a truck go to El Salvador to Costa Rica, bring all the stuff to Costa Rica. And I told to him, I go in the trailer, okay. And I went to it's called ferry there.
Okay.
And I was traveled all night inside that.
So you and Patty
Patty.
were in the truck
Yeah.
on a ferry
Yeah.
from San
From
Salvador?
San Salvador. It's called La Unión.
Okay.
The Unión to Nicaragua. The Nicaragua go in the carro to Costa Rica.
How long were you in Costa Rica for?
I was live for 5 years and a half.
Okay, with that same family?
Yeah, no. That family was stay for 3 years there because the contract he was finished and he come back.
Okay.
The family.
Okay.
And the family he want me to say, Mari, don't go back to El Salvador.
Okay.
Put the paper, go to Canada. And I said, why I go to there? And she said, yeah, better for you and better for your daughter.
What year did you land in Canada?
Was April 95.
April 1995.
Yeah.
So you landed in Calgary or Edmonton?
Yeah, in Calgary.
And then when you came to Red Deer, how was that? What was hard for you when you came to Red Deer?
It was very hard for me because, I don't speak English.
Okay.
And when I go to the supermarket, like this.
Okay. Pointed.
Yeah. And how much is this? It's very expensive. It's very expensive. For the money from Costa Rica. But I think it was more cheaper in here than in Costa Rica because the money over there is pesos.
And how did people treat you here when you came to this country?
The people, for me, only when I was start to work, some people was very rude because I don't speak English. You have to understand. And I say, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's very bad.
And
My daughter, she was crying too. When she went to school because the people were laughing to her. My son, when he went to the kindergarten, he doesn't want to go. He said, no, I don't want to go there. I want to come back to Costa Rica. I want to come back there. I don't want to stay here because I would live in the daycare because he doesn't want to go there. He doesn't want to.
When did Red Deer start to feel like home for you?
Maybe when I have maybe 5 years in here. Yeah, I think, I say, that's not different life for me. I have to. Before, no, let's see. No.
It took you 5 years for Red Deer to feel like home.
Yeah.
What happened in those 5 years?
You know what happened? Because when I went see my sister, I said, no, my life is in Canada, not in El Salvador.
Okay.
When I come back, I say no.
All right.
Yeah.
Did you have any kids that were born in Canada, or was it just...
Yeah. The Patricia, she was born in Salvador. Augusto, he was born in Costa Rica. And Selena, she was born here in Canada.
In Red Deer?
Yeah, in Red Deer.
Okay.
And when I came here, I think I was working for maybe almost for 5 years. And I was working at McDonald's in the night because I want to collect some money with my 3 kids.
So you would work at night?
Yeah,
and then would your husband Julio work during the day?
Yeah. He would work start maybe 7. Sometimes he finish at 7 in the night.
Wow.
Yeah, it was no time for the kids. And I say no. Maybe I babysit for the kids.
Okay, so you opened
I was
a daycare?
babysitting 4 kids, and the 2 mine, it was 6.
During the day?
Yeah, in the day. No more work at McDonald's. I was babysitting maybe for 4 years.
Okay.
And then I said, no, I stop. I don't want to stay home.
Hey.
I work for far away, for Bauer Mall, Parker Mall, downtown, and from the Red Deer for the Fort Tacotais. That's why some people is, from my country. They say that it's not working here like, if you want to work, it's job in here. Doesn't matter where you go and work. If you want to work. And some people say, no, I don't want to work this. I don't know why I'm coming to here. And when the people say, like, she talking like with me and my friend, and say, well, why you coming here? Why you don't stay in my country? Yeah, that's the best part of this. You stay there. Why you coming here? You coming here because you have to work like a slave. If you want to do something, you have to work.
Yeah. What did your life here give to you?
Everything I wanted.
Okay.
Yes, I work. Everything I want. Now I don't work, but I will work hard. Now I don't work now, pero I work because
You work.
I live in city.
You're a busy abuela.
I'm busy abuela, walking with the kids, cooking with the kids. I put cooking together, look, the three guys. For me, I say, thank you, Jesus. I come in here. Maybe I die in here. Maybe I come back to die in my country. I don't know.
But for now, you're just living.
For now, I enjoy my retirement. I enjoy my life for the future, not for the back. The back it was bad, but now it's better for me.
The future has been bright. It's
Yeah.
been good to you.
I know it's hard, Leslie, coming here. It's very hard. But for the future, for my kids, the best part I have it.
I think of my childhood in different phases.
Okay.
So there was when I lived in Haiti, and then when I moved to the Bahamas. That's
What
how
was
I
it like
defined-
being in Haiti?
It was amazing. It was the best time of my life. Even though now thinking back and looking back, I'm like, that period in Haiti was very turbulent. And I think it was very traumatizing for me when I had to move to the Bahamas.
And how old were you?
I was 7, and I didn't know we were leaving, because as a child, you're not exactly given a say. Like you're just told. I wasn't even told what was happening. Like it was during the process of things happening that I figured, oh, that is not the Haitian flag, right? So it was very traumatic for me, and that meant that I left all of my family behind. So it was just my mom and I that moved from Haiti to the Bahamas to join my dad, who had been living there prior. And I had never met my dad before that day, because he left when I was 6 months old. So he and I didn't know each other, and he wasn't able to travel back to Haiti because of immigration status, right?
Okay.
So we were all strangers to each other. So it was just my mom and I. And so I left everything that I knew in Haiti to be in a new territory, new language, new culture, new people, and even like a new dad, because he technically wasn't, I wasn't raised with him.
When you arrived in the Bahamas, what was it like for you as a child?
I'm still trying to process it, because it was so traumatic. I didn't know we were leaving. So we just arrived in a new place of people who looked like me, but they spoke a different language. They ate different foods. They had their own culture. Like everything was very, very different. And Haitians are very patriotic, and Bahamians are very patriotic as well, but it's a different sense of patriotism. So Haitians are very patriotic towards the ancestors and the founders of Haiti, whereas the Bahamas was a very new nation. They gained independence in 1973. Whereas with Haiti, theirs was in 1804, where they fought for their independence, right? And in the Bahamas, there wasn't settlement agencies, there weren't English as a second language classes, there was none of that. So you just got registered into class, and then that was it.
You just had to figure it
You
out.
just had to figure it out.
You chose to leave the Bahamas. What set off that decision?
Because I never really fit into the Bahamas. And I was raised there, so I can speak like a Bahamian, I look like a Bahamian, all of these things, but I was not Bahamian. I didn't have permanent status in the Bahamas either. So my status was based on my parents' status. So as long as my parents had status, I had status as their dependent, which changed once I became 18. And so now it was like, okay, well, now you have to essentially be on your own. You're no longer a dependent of your parents. But 18, you're still trying to figure things out, right? So this was when, so I graduated from high school, and then it's like, well, what now? So that began the other chapter of my life, because now the Bahamas was no longer home for me. I applied at a local university in Jamaica. So I went there for 2 years. I lived there for 2 years. That was another culture shock. Because Jamaicans, again, are very patriotic, right? So you have like the clash of all of these islands and people. But I learned so much, and I grew up in Jamaica, like in those 2 years, right? Because I no longer had my parents with me, my family. And it was while I was in Jamaica, I met a few Canadian students and international students. And I was like, you know, maybe I should continue or complete my degree outside of the Caribbean.
Okay.
So I wanted a different experience. I wanted to see something different.
So what was the biggest shock?
The winter. Like, no, I know there's always a disclaimer that Alberta is cold, but no one can actually explain it to you. You have to experience.
It's levels of cold.
Oh man, it's a whole different level of cold. So that was one, and then there weren't as much diversity back then. So there were pockets of people, and shopping, you would see somebody and be like, oh, I haven't seen you before. Like we became instant family and friends, right? So yeah, but I love Central Alberta.
Your story is like threefold now.
Isn't it? And still evolving.
Well, almost fourfold, from Haiti to Bahamas, Bahamas to Jamaica, Jamaica to Central Alberta. What were the challenges for you when you reached in Central Alberta?
Know, like, I think Canada, since I left Haiti, Canada was the more stable. Like, Canada felt more at home, felt more like home for me than the other place, even more so than the Bahamas.
Okay.
Because I was able to study, I was able to work even as an international student. Like, I think I held, my first bank account was in Canada, because I couldn't have a bank account in the Bahamas. Canada was the first place where I was able to, like, be my own person, my own individual self. Like, I could apply for a driver's license, I could participate in things, and there was, I could work, and there was also where people didn't like, are you Haitian, right? Whereas when I lived in the Bahamas, I got that quite a bit, because people weren't quite sure, are you a Bahamian or are you a Haitian, right? Because I spoke like a Bahamian, but my name was very Haitian. But here, because there were so many different nationalities, there wasn't it was a different kind of, oh, hi.
When did Central Alberta feel like home?
Officially, or?
It's not hard.
Because officially, I became a permanent resident last year. So, and I, even, like, the immigration process is anxiety inducing for me. Last year, when I became a permanent resident, I felt like so much weight had been lifted off my shoulder that I can actually stay here now. Like, there's nothing dependent on, there's not a time frame attached to it. Whereas before, as an international student, as a visitor, as a temporary resident, right? Like, those factors varies, but now I'm officially, I felt as if this was home last year.
How has building a life in Central Alberta impacted the person that you are today?
It impacted me in so many different ways. And I look at it as lessons learned. I was going through, I think it was when I turned 30, I started writing letters to my future self for my birthday. So on my current birthday, I would write a letter to myself for my next birthday.
Okay.
Right? And then instead of just doing it every year, I started writing letters to myself on the 28th of every month, to building towards my next birthday. And I was just reading a letter that I wrote to myself, I believe in 2017, manifesting gratitude for being able to call Central Alberta home.
I love it. Would you be willing to read one of your letters?
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. The floor is yours.
So this one was to be opened on my birthday in 2017.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
I know. So, hello there, beautiful lady. When you read this next, you would have celebrated your 35th birthday. Happy birthday and congratulations. You survived and you smiled through most of it. As you're reading this, I want you to be thankful that the Canadian government has approved your permanent residence application and you can now call this beautiful place home. It's okay if you're still single, and even if you are still living at home, you have done what most people could not. Also, did you host your big event? How was it? Are you an entrepreneur, a community builder, an activist? Are you still a tree hugger and a believer in unicorn? Continue to have faith and to work on your dreams. You have successfully planned and coordinated 4 weddings. Have you handed out all of your business cards? Don't be shy. You are resilient and you are a fighter. It takes you longer than most, but you still get stuff done. Chin up and panties on. You're a femme mache, which means that I'm a market woman from Haiti who hustles, right? I love you, and I hope that one day you will learn to really and truly accept the love of those who genuinely love you. Do not fear immigration, fear God. And this was written on August 28th, 2017. What has stood out to me is asking myself if I'm an entrepreneur yet, if I'm the community builder, an activist, if I'm still a tree hugger and a believer in unicorn, which is, I am all of those things.
All of them. You were reading that out loud. I'm like, yes, yes.
Right? And this was when I didn't think it would have been possible to be any one of those things, right? And a believer in unicorn just reminds me to believe in my dreams no matter how wild or impossible they seem.
Stay delulu.
Right?
Stay delulu.
And I don't know where I got this piece from, like chin up and panties on. It's like
Get up, get going.
yeah, keep going.
That's
like
what it
just,
is.
get dressed. So yeah, this means a lot. Like being able to read this. Bad penmanship and all.
Why do you think so many people are immune to the realities and the struggles that people face?
I think it's because they have no idea of what it is. Because no one can really relate to what you're experiencing. And so with me, because people would just be like, oh girl, just apply. Right? Just do this.
Okay.
Like you can just do that. And they don't understand the barriers, the challenges, the systems that are put into place to create a home without a home for a lot of people. So I think that's why, because people still don't understand, right? Like, well, because a lot of people would still be like, well, you live here, like you're from here. Yes, but not according to the government. But yeah, so it's really sweet that it has happened years later, but it happened.
One of the questions I have for you when it comes to what was your experience like growing up in Red Deer?
Well, I'm an only child, so I guess I don't want to say it's lonely, but like just kind of experiencing all of the things that my parents were doing to help back in the Philippines was like a big thing that I observed.
What neighborhood did you grow up in, Red Deer?
Well, I actually we kind of moved a lot to different places. Like we were downtown at one point, like when I was a baby, then we were around like Morris Road, close to like that IGA Eastview area.
Okay.
Moved close to the mall, and then close to Eastview area again. So I just had to walk across the street to my elementary school, and then we moved like a few blocks down, and that's where we've set up now.
Okay.
I think the biggest highlight for me, like growing up, was a lot of like the parties we'd go to. So like you would know like anyone and everyone within the community.
So even when you were growing up, was there already an established Filipino community in Red Deer?
Yeah.
That's so neat. No one ever.
It's actually really interesting too, because like if you look at it now, like before, like you would know anyone.
Okay.
Because there would be like lots of like big family clans, and now it's just like you would walk into the mall or something and you don't know, you're not really familiar who it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your upbringing, you basically, the Filipino community was more tight knit. I didn't even, like, I'm speaking from a Red Deer transplant. I didn't even know there was a large established Filipino community in Red Deer. What's the story of how your parents came to Canada?
So my mom, I'm trying to remember the date, May 20th,
It's okay.
1992. So she came here as a nanny.
Okay.
Previously, she was a nanny too in Singapore.
Okay.
Yeah, and then she like had some like family friends here that helped her to get here. And she was telling me too that she wanted to come here just for a better opportunity. Yeah,
Okay.
and like the process to come here was a bit easier.
So she came directly from Singapore to Red Deer.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And why Red Deer?
a lot of our family friends. So like those big like
Clans.
families, clans, yeah, she knew them. So
So did she already know them from growing up in the Philippines?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that is so neat.
yeah, that's why like some of our family in Edmonton and Calgary, it's like everybody knows everyone, depending like when you came.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I feel like what I'm sensing, even though you grew up an only child, you weren't really an only child in the physical form because you were always surrounded by family friends.
Yeah.
What challenges did your mom face when she first moved here in Red Deer?
I guess just like the change from like going from like like Singapore, Philippines, and like kind of being close to family, and then coming all the way here and like kind of feeling alone was her biggest thing.
A new culture, a new country, a new city.
Yeah.
You know, that can take a toll on us,
Yeah.
the children.
I think the biggest thing is like like her and my mom, like my dad, like just their act of giving was a really big thing in our household. The biggest purpose of her coming to Canada is to support her family. She didn't actually finish high school, so she like kind of just became a nanny like right away. So that was like her biggest thing. Yeah.
I already know but I'm not gonna say it because you had shown me one of the pictures from
Yeah.
your university graduation. How did that impact your parents?
Yeah, it was a big thing for her. Like, I think for her, she, like, to me, doing all of the things that I want to do, like, she's really proud of anything I do. Like, she's very supportive.
I love that. No, I truly love that. I think it speaks to the reason why she chose to move to Canada and then settle and make roots in Red Deer.
Yeah.
When did Red Deer feel like home for you?
I mean, like, obviously I grew up here. So, like, obviously it's, like, my hometown.
Okay.
But I think because like, it's a small town, city, I guess. But majority of, like, the time that I was here, I just wanted to, like, leave.
Okay.
And then, so then, like, when I went to university and I came back, I think that's when it started, like, feeling like home because, like, I became more present with where I was and, like, I'm more grateful for, like, the people that I know in this area,
Okay.
like, family, friends, and all of that. And then just, like, I'm really grateful that, like, it's easy to, like, go around. Like, being born and raised here, it's, like, this is not, like, negative or anything, but, like, there's, like, a clash because, like, I'm here, but like I have family and friends and I'm able to like learn of my culture. But at the same time, because I'm not from the Philippines, it feels like off, like in a way, you know what I mean? Like I know the culture, but like to some extent I don't.
Because you grew up through the
Yeah.
lens of growing up
Yeah.
in Central Alberta. You were not physically
Yeah.
in the Philippines.
I think that like it's great that like I had a lot of like family friends who were a part of like the Filipino community, but like when it came to school, it was like just me being the only Filipino once in a while to like, so it was like a different experience. Like I'd have family friends who were like older or younger than me,
Okay.
but like it was just me sometimes. And then like at one point, like I had one of my best friends in grade 5 who's also Filipino. And then like as I slowly transitioned like middle school, high school, like that's when I started seeing like more people who were a part of my community. So like in middle school there was like still a lot of family friends who I knew, so like we were kind of like there and we were together. But then like in high school it kind of hit me that like there was like more than just like our family friends. There was more people coming in because of their families. So in high school it was nice to see like other Filipinos, but then it was also another clash because like I would only speak English, right? So like them speaking in their language, like the main language of Tagalog, and me speaking English, it's just like I still didn't fit in a sense. So it was just kind of like this constant like conflict, because like sometimes they didn't even recognize that, like realize I was Filipino because of how I was like talking.
Do you ever think you'll heal that conflict? You'll overcome that conflict?
Hit or miss, maybe.
Okay.
We'll see.
And are you comfortable if you never do?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's what's important.
Yeah.
That's life. Everyone has different lived experience. Home is where we build it, with stories, laughter, and shared meals. Maria, Dieulita, Angelica, different journeys, one destination. Red Deer. It's a place where we find connection and belonging, because no matter where we come from, what truly binds us is the desire to go somewhere